On April 17, 1492, the Spanish crown signed a contract that would eventually reorganize the known world. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella officially agreed to back Christopher Columbus's plan to reach the East by sailing west. This wasn't a mission of pure curiosity, it was a high-stakes financial gamble. Ferdinand and Isabella were effectively operating as venture capitalists, risking a significant portion of the Spanish treasury on an unproven sea route. After resupplying in the Canary Islands, Columbus's fleet began its crossing. Just 33 days later, they sighted land, completing the journey with remarkable speed. Throughout the journey, Columbus relied on one unshakable assumption, that every league he sailed west brought him closer to the established trading hubs of Asia. Looking at this map from the time, his logic is clear. In the 15th century European worldview, the Americas simply did not exist. The only thing separating Spain from the Indies was a vast, empty ocean. To understand the logs Columbus kept during this crossing, we have to consider his primary audience. Every page he wrote was intended to eventually be read by the investors who held his future in their hands. These records reflect the immense pressure Columbus was under to prove the voyage was a success. As we look at his specific descriptions of the islands, we can see how that pressure began to color his geographical observations. Columbus immediately began asserting Spanish authority over the land. He strategically renamed the islands to honor his royal backers, listing them in his letters as San Salvador, Fernandina, Isabella, and Juana. He took possession through formal proclamations and the unfurling of the royal standard. At the time, the indigenous populations offered no resistance to these strange European rituals of ownership. When the fleet reached Cuba, Columbus's geographical expectations collided with the reality of the coastline. He reported reaching the mainland, specifically the province of Cathay. But editorial notes highlight a significant gap. After sailing the coast for 21 days, suggesting an island, Columbus still insisted he was on the Asiatic mainland. Columbus essentially drafted a map of his own expectations. By reporting Cuba as a mainland province, he kept his promise to reach Asia alive, regardless of what the actual geography suggested. He applied this same logic to his environmental reports. He described Hispaniola as a land of total abundance, filled with broad rivers, deeply fertile soil, and hidden gold mines. To sell this paradise to European readers, he claimed to hear a nightingale singing in the palms. However, footnotes clarify nightingales don't exist in the Caribbean. He likely heard a mockingbird, but the nightingale was a familiar symbol of bounty. His descriptions of the indigenous people followed a similar pattern. He documented them as timid, lacking iron or steel, and carrying only sharpened sticks. He emphasized their generosity, writing they were so liberal with their belongings they would share anything. This narrative of total passivity was useful for investors, but as the footnote bluntly notes, it proved inaccurate, glossing over the eventual resistance of these societies. Through these curated observations, Columbus presented the Spanish crown with exactly what it wanted to hear: a land of easy wealth and a population that would offer no resistance to colonization. In mid-April 1493, Columbus returned to Barcelona to deliver his final report to the monarchs. While Columbus enjoyed a hero's welcome, the voyage had already taken a toll on his crew. His fellow captain, Pinzon, died shortly after reaching Spain, reportedly overwhelmed by the stress of the journey. Columbus appeared before the court with indigenous captives and strange new objects, providing physical evidence for the claims he had been making in his letters. But the most important evidence was the gold. These artifacts, crescent jewelry and small animal figurines, served as the ultimate proof that his gamble had paid off. The monarchs reacted with joy, treating Columbus with the highest honors, seating him on a magnificent throne under a canopy to hear his account. Christopher Columbus had successfully opened a door to a new world. Yet his own logs suggest that he spent that entire first voyage desperately trying to force that new world to fit the map of the old one.